Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Scotland in January. So, you can tell by the thumbnail and the intro, exhaust time for the Focus RS. So obviously, as you can tell, it's a Cobra sports system and it's the Venom, which apparently is extremely loud, but I think we'll be the judge of that. To be honest, I really cannot be bothered taking all that stuff out of the box. So I think I'm just going to let a bit of YouTube magic do it for me. So let's get some cardboard on the floor. That's a good start. And let's get the entire contents of that box out there so we can see what we're dealing with. Just like that. Easy peasy. That was way easier than having to take all that stuff out, all that packaging with all that sellotape, and oh, that would have been a nightmare if I'd had to do that. Right, so the very first thing we're going to do, and I would recommend this to anybody fitting an exhaust, is we're going to lay all the exhaust out in exactly how it's going to sit underneath the car and just make sure everything's in that box, because if it's not and I'm halfway through doing this, I'll be quite annoyed, and you would be too. So first thing you do, just check everything's there, check all the pieces are there, because obviously there's a lot of different pieces to these exhaust systems. So we'll do that just now and then we'll get the car up in the air. Right, so that's it kind of laid out. Well, the exhaust tips are not meant to be up there, they're meant to be down here. But other than that, that's how I think it's meant to be laid out. Fairly straightforward. Clamp there, done. Gasket there, done. This bit's confusing me a wee bit at this exact moment in time. I'll need to check the instructions online. But I don't understand how you would assume for non-valved systems they would come with this and sit on the end of there like that and like that, and then the exhaust tips would go on there. I ordered a valved system, so I'm not 100% sure why this is here, because technically speaking that should sit there. So I don't know whether they didn't mean to send me that or whether somebody at Cobra Sport is just trying to confuse me a little bit. But anyway, with that, that's a rough idea of what we're shooting at. So let's now get the car up in the air and start taking the old system off.
A few moments later.
So I've hit a bit of a problem already. And the problem is, so this is where the jacking point is. You can see by the little arrow. This is where the jacking point is on the Focus. And this is completely original. It's never been jacked up by this before because this car's only done 4,000 miles. And I really don't want to put a jack on it without rubber feet, which I don't have with me just now. And I really don't want to bend that metal. So the alternative is to jack it up from the actual frame, lower frame of the car. But if I do that, the car's only going to be sitting up at the back, not at the front. And they need to get all the way up to about here for the exhaust system. Well, maybe not that far. Say about there. So what I've done is I've ordered something that's going to be a lot easier to get this whole thing done, but it's going to take 7 to 10 working days to get here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see you in a matter of seconds and I'll have a solution to this problem. So I'll be back with you in just a second. And just like that, new set of quick jacks. Happy days. So with that, I've already set them up. I was going to do a how to set these up, but to be honest, the instructions were so good when you buy them and the instructions online and stuff, there was no point, I don't think. So with that, let's get these two bad boys underneath the car, get the car up in the air, and we'll get the old exhaust system off. Ladies and gentlemen, look how cool that is. Look at the amount of space I've got underneath the car now. That is awesome. Right, let's get the old exhaust off now. Right, so with that thing undone up there, what I'm going to have to do now, because this exhaust system is all one piece, so I'm going to have to hacksaw through here so I can get this section of the pipe out, and it will come out over the back of there and out into the main exhaust. So with that, let's hacksaw that piece off. That took absolutely ages with a hacksaw. I really need to go and buy myself a compressor so I can use my air tools again. Right, so with that out of the way, thankfully, what we need to do now is just remove the exhaust bung that's hanging in there, and this whole section should come out. Right, so the next thing we've got to do is take off the little valve controller there. It's just 3/8 milli bolts, so that's super quick. And last but not least, got to get the whole rear section out. Not gonna lie, don't know how much of that footage I'm going to include, because that exhaust fell on my head. But it's out now, so out with the old and in with the new. So you mount all the bungs first, all of them. So if you noticed, I hung the one down there to hold that section on. Then I hung this one, and then I hung the front two, just to basically hold the exhaust system up in place while you're mounting all the gaskets and bolts and whatever else have you. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and tighten all the bolts. And that way you can be sure the whole exhaust system is in the right place before you tighten anything up. But I'm not going to bore you guys with that. So next thing to do, fit the pipes on the end of both sides, put the vacuum line back in, put the tailpipes on, and this thing will be good to go. You know you can get rednecks in Scotland? Right, so we get this final bolt tightened up. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, took a little bit longer than I'd expected. But they're now even, which is the biggest faff alive. But we're good to go, everything's tight. They're now nice and straight. So let's get the car down off the quick jacks and fire her up for the first time. Right, ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Let's hear this thing fire up. Well, that sounds pretty good. So what we'll do is we'll let it warm up, and then we'll give it a few revs. Right, so now that the car's warmed up a wee bit, let's give it a few revs, see what it sounds like. Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen, that's not even in race mode. Right, let's chuck it in race mode just quick, see what it sounds like then. Yes sir, that's awesome. Oh, that is absolutely epic. Right, let's turn it off before the neighbours or the police shout at me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty impressed by that. That is going to sound awesome when we get it on the road. So in the summer we'll do a few flybys so you can hear this thing absolutely ripping. The next thing to do to the Focus is we're going to have to do the big boost pipes, which are there, which we can do now because we've got the quick jacks. So we'll do that in the next couple of episodes, something like that, once we've got these two cars out of the way. Then we'll give it another remap, and then we'll take it for a proper rip, see what it sounds like. So in next week's episode, now that I've got the parts for both of these cars, we'll get that one in, we'll figure out what's wrong with the wheel, we'll order the parts for that, get that fixed, get all the damage fixed as well, and get that one ready for the road. Then we'll quickly focus on this one because this one shouldn't take very long at all. So as always guys, hope you're keeping well and I hope you're keeping safe in these crazy times that we're living in at the moment. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.